turn of the century, from the 19th to the 20th century, was a time of large-scale breakthrough innovation. It was really the formative years of technology, and what kind of coincided with that was this curiosity amongst the American people of how do things work, and what are the mechanics of X, Y, and Z. And there was a need from a content standpoint to produce some type of content that provided the answers. And that's how Popular Mechanics started. The Hearst Company has owned the magazine for approximately 60 years now. And the answer to that is, interestingly enough, they're not as hands-on as you'd think. The magazine is still run by a core group of editors and a core group of people on the business side that, really hold the responsibility for maintaining the editorial mission and, the profitability of the brand. Jay Leno writes a column for us every 2 months. He's a great guy. I actually had the privilege of meeting him once, and he's true to what you see in the magazine. He is just a true car and motorcycle buff. Actually, technology has been a mainstay of the magazine since it was started. Really, from day one, the magazine was about technology, and what you'll find is that even if there's an automobile section or a science story in the magazine, technology is almost always still at the core of it. In terms of, how it's changed from a technology standpoint, again, the magazine was one of the first to adapt to the internet back in 1995, and now we're one of the first on the tablet, the iPad, and the Samsung Galaxy. As of right now, we have a lot in Latin America. In fact, we have 11 in Latin America, including Central America, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Peru. We have a Russian edition, a South African edition, a total circulation internationally of about 1.6 million copies. Well, I think as a general rule, what you're seeing now is just this explosion of technological innovation. And because Popular Mechanics as a brand for 110 years has been associated with that, I think from a marketing standpoint and from an editorial standpoint, we're faced with the challenge of kind of being the cusp of that. So to that end, when we heard that the iPad was coming out, we had to be one of the first magazine brands that was on the iPad. It wasn't a question of how are we going to get there. And the same thing holds true with everything else. So as technology expands and there are more opportunities for brands to make themselves available to people in different communication areas, you can expect to see Popular Mechanics there. My favorite story is that back in, I believe it was 1998 or 1999, when the show Friends was the most popular on TV, Popular Mechanics was mentioned in a Friends episode and was a kind of a focal point of one of the stories. Jennifer Aniston's character was actually unemployed and looking for a job, and she applied for a job. And they talked about her working for Popular Mechanics and had a little fun at her expense for that. It was great. It's a really big honor and a privilege to have this award given, primarily because so much effort has gone into our automotive coverage and our car care coverage. And, while readers appreciate the content, it's still a rarity that, the hard work and the dedication of our automotive editors is actually called out. Believe it or not, it just does not happen that much. Magazines don't have the luster of, say, the Academy Award or the Emmys or the Tonys or what have you. There are regional things, but there's not the national accolades, really, or ones that, common folks kind of can learn about. So, being given this award is just a true honor and a privilege because I think that it gives recognition to our editors who really deserve it.